Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Abubakar Yusuf, and today I will be presenting my FYP1 research. So, as you can see on the screen, the name of my topic is Digital Twin Security, and my supervisor is Dr. Nur Mazia bint Abdulaziz. So, first of all, we're gonna start with the introduction, and the introduction is basically an introduction is what is exactly a digital twin and what is exactly industrial control systems. Um, we're gonna be reading directly from the slides because it's a little bit easier for everyone to follow as this topic it's a bit new concept. So basically, in the recent year, digital twin for industrial control system have attracted a lot of attentions, and the increased size of its abilities and capabilities, um, so that we can simulate something or we can optimize something, or maybe we can predict the maintenance of like a industrial control system before before something really bad happens to it. But then when a lot of people use something, then of course there should be like a vulnerability or something happening, which is not what we're expecting. So so the main focus of my research is to develop a digital twin framework that can detect intrusion, and then it can also detect vulnerable industrial control system. So basically, if you have the framework in your network, then it will help you determine these two things. So the next slide is the overview of what is exactly a digital twin. So as I said as I said earlier, a digital twin is basically like a copy of the original system. So from this image, we can see that this is a physical asset, and this is a digital twin, which most of the time it lives in the cloud. So basically, a, dig- a digital twin and a physical asset, they are almost literally identical. The only difference is a physical asset. You can touch it and you can see it with your own eyes. But a digital twin is a digital thing, as the name suggests it. Okay, so what is the problem statement for my research? The problem statement, because ICS, they become more connected, and a lot of people they start using it. A lot of industries they started to look into them. Then they become a little bit more vulnerable to cyber attacks. So the main goal of this research is to identify a free framework, and then develop an intrusion detection system, and then develop a vulnerability detection system, so that we can detect something, so that we can detect cyber attacks, and we can detect vulnerable ICS. And for the objective of the research, as I said this earlier already, our main objectives are four. First of all, we can identify a free and open source digital twin framework. And then the second one, we can integrate a machine learning based digital twin vulnerability detection system for industrial control systems. The third one is we can enhance the currently available ICS's intrusion detection system. And the last one is gonna be we gonna modularize the framework for easier deployment and modification in the future in case we needed to do this one. All right. So here it's come to the research methodology. So for the research methodology, we divide it into four. but we have a subdivision here. So the first thing um, the first thing we do here is we do a literature review, which is basically we search for the topics that are related to what we're going to be doing. And then the second one, it's going to be design. So in this phase, then we gonna design the actual network, and then we gonna also design the attacks. And then in this phase as well, we gonna determine the machine learning algorithm that we will choose to train our model. And the third one, it's gonna be the implementation, and this is the phase where we will try to implement what we already designed earlier. And the fourth one is testing, which is basically we try to test the ability of our newly proposed framework to see if it could detect a vulnerability in a system, or if it could detect intrusion in industrial control systems. And the last one, it's gonna be evaluating the findings, which is basically we talked about what we learn, and then we try to see the limitation of our framework, and then talk about future works. Okay, so the next thing is literature review. For this part, I personally myself review 10 previous related work. So basically, papers that are related to digital twin, papers that are related to industrial control system. I reviewed 10 of them, and I choose 4 of them. So the first one, Days in 2020, published a paper that integrate a digital twin in security operations center. And this paper also demonstrate like how how we could do a man in the middle attack against industrial control systems, and then the possible mitigations to those attacks. And then in 2018, Elkhart's, I cannot really pronounce the name, it's a little bit complicated to say, um, propose, sorry, and not propose, publish a paper that explain in details like the relationship between cyber physical devices and industrial control system. And in 2020, uh, Morris published a paper that basically explain like how we could detect an intrusion in a system with nearly a real time, so like which is basically like in milliseconds. And the last paper that I will be including is a paper by Seba Anna that proposed a digital twin intrusion detection system, actually using machine learning. And this paper, if we could still remember the objective, I said enhance the currently available ICS intrusion detection system. I am actually referring to this last paper because this is the latest intrusion detection system that I could get, which is actually publishing somewhere around December 2021, which is almost 2022. Okay, so the last part, it's gonna be like the tools that we're gonna be using, as well as the reference, as well as a reference to these papers. So the first one, it's obviously Git, because like you need to get track of everything. The second one, it's gonna be Python, because the framework that we gonna be using, it's written in Python. And the third one, it's gonna be Docker, because we need to simulate a lot of systems. So basically, like we need to have an image of the system. And that's all from me. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Abubakar Yusuf. And thank you all.